Waiver wire ads and stashes heading into week 9. Let's talk about them. So the first pickup on my list is someone that I mentioned last week as well, but Trey McBride. McBride caught 10 of 14 passes for 95 yards and a touchdown. And this was especially impressive given that he went up against Baltimore, who allows the second fewest passing yards per game. This week, things don't get any easier, going up against Cleveland, who allows the fewest passing yards per game, but McBride showed that he may have the ability to overcome that. McBride is set up to have a lot of value over the next 3 weeks. With Zach Ertz on IR with a strained quadriceps, his 6.8 targets per game are likely all to go McBride's way. And let's not forget, the Cardinals love to target the tight end. They have the 3rd most tight end targets of any team in the league this year with 83. So I have to think that McBride's role is going to continue to stay right where it's at. Let's not forget how much talent this man has. He's a 2nd-round pick who won the Mackey Award in 2021, which is the award given to the nation's best tight end in college. And he doesn't have much competition for targets behind him. In my mind, he's a fringe top 12 tight end until Zach Ertz returns. And if he does well enough, he may just steal the job completely. Next up, Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson finally had some life breathed back to him over these last 2 weeks, getting 13 catches for 151 yards and a touchdown. And yesterday was the first time he actually topped 50 receiving yards in a game this year. He's only rostered in 51% of leagues, and there's still a lot of upside here. He hasn't really lost his role in this offense. He's averaging around 83% of the snaps per game. While Sam Howell may not be a household name, he's still held his own this year. He may be the most sacked quarterback in the league, but he's also thrown the 5th most passing yards of any quarterback this year. And he's also tied for the 6th most passing touchdowns. So he's very capable. And this week, the Commanders go up against the Patriots, who have been very middle of the pack in terms of passing yards allowed per game. It wouldn't surprise me to see Dotson stay involved and build off of his last 2 weeks. At this point, I definitely think he's worth picking up. He's probably a low-end 3 right now, but he has low-end WR2 upside in my opinion. This is a guy that scored 7 times in 12 games last year and averaged 14.9 yards per reception. So he has the talent, and I think it's only a matter of time before he puts it together. Next up, Brandon Cooks. After starting slow, Cooks has kind of come on over the last 2 weeks. He has 9 touches for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. While his volume is still pretty low on the year, averaging around 4.5 targets per game, he does still have a solid role in this offense. In every game that he's played with Michael Gallup, he's outsnapped him. And with the way the Cowboys have been running the ball over the last 3 games, averaging a paltry 85 yards per game, I think they're going to keep throwing it. And this week they go up against Philly, who just got torched by Sam Howell for 397 yards and 4 touchdowns. So I think Cooks has a good chance to continue adding on to his touchdown streak, and at the very least should be involved. If you're looking for a low-end WR3 with upside, Cooks is definitely someone to consider. He pretty much has a lock on this team's seam stretching role, and we've seen him score points in a hurry. He's definitely a little bit more boom-bust at this stage of his career, but he could put up a low-end WR2 week at any point. Next up, Will Levis. Levis gave this team the spark they needed yesterday. He threw for 238 yards and 4 passing touchdowns. He also had 7 rushing attempts for 11 yards. And I think he's all but secured the starting quarterback role in this offense. We saw Malik Willis start off the game, but he quickly lost a fumble and was benched. And with the way Ryan Tannehill has played this year, I think this is Levis's job to lose regardless of how Tannehill's ankle is. Tannehill has posted a 2-to-6 touchdown to interception ratio so far, and Levis blew that out the water in 1 game. Levis didn't even turn it over yesterday. Levis should have the keys to this offense for the foreseeable future. If you're in need of a quarterback with some rushing upside as well, I definitely would give him a look. This week he's going up against Pittsburgh on a short week, and Pittsburgh allows the 9th most passing yards per game. So there's a lot of upside here, and I think he gives a boost to pretty much all position players in Tennessee. We saw Derrick Henry benefit from him, and we also saw DeAndre Hopkins benefit greatly from him, catching 3 of Levis's 4 touchdowns. Last on my list is Devon Singletary. Devon Singletary's rostered in about 20% of leagues, and over the last 2 weeks, he's kind of come back to life. He has 25 touches for 105 yards, and he's outsnapped Dameon Pierce. This running game for Houston has been very, very lackluster. They have the 10th fewest rushing yards per game, and they're looking for a spark, which to me means Singletary's probably going to get a deeper look. He's definitely had more involvement throughout the year in the passing game. I don't see that changing, but I think he's going to start to eat into Pierce's early down work if Pierce can't put together something on tape pretty quickly. I think at this point it's pretty clear the Texans want to run their offense through C.J. Stroud, but they're going to continue to look for a running game. And I think this man to be a committee sooner rather than later. If Pierce continues to struggle, Singletary may take over this backfield. At the very least, he's a low-end RB3 right now, but given his pass-catching work, he's probably worth a little bit more in PPR leagues. Those are my waiver wire ads heading into Week 9. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and let me know your thoughts heading into Week 9 in the comments below.